Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. It's Business School Without the BS. Featuring optometrist turned entrepreneur, Dr. Robert Zellner, with USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark.
It is the Thrivetime Show. Let your boom begin. Where we drop knowledge bombs for you in Portland. Teaching the proven systems to make your ends. So you can produce the greenery like all the Oregon. Suit will call you Franklin because you got Benjamins. We'll call you Big Pearl because you just bought a Benz. And then you'll be bragging to your wife and kids that your wallet's overweight, but it used to be thin. Thumbs away, this is Clay, broadcaster with the Zen, with the focus locked in like San Quentin. Can I get a B to the O to the M? You've heard the rumors, he is I and I is him. He be the Z and I be the C. Now it's teaching business skills from Clay to Z. We both grew up poor, but we're poor no more. The goal of the show is to help you soar. Thrive Nation, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Thrivetime Show on your radio. And today we're talking about disciplined diligence is the difference maker. Wow, there's a lot of D's there. Disciplined diligence is the difference maker. Now, Chuck, here's the scenario. There's a church out there in Owensboro, Kentucky, called River City Church.
I've heard of these guys.
And these guys have made a series of terrible decisions consecutively, and somehow I am now leaving to speak at said church, and I'm gonna quote scripture. Okay. But I'm not a pastor, and the only topic that I'm qualified to speak about is work ethic. And so we have Dr. That's right. And so today we have Dr. Sibley on the show, and he is a chiropractor who's in such high regard that Wayne Gretzky, the great one, he's actually been the chiropractor of choice for Wayne Gretzky and a lot of other people that you would know. Yeah. And he is also sort of an expert on work ethic. So I'm going to start with you, Dr. Sibley. And from your perspective, if you're talking to an entrepreneur that has a great business plan, and they have a great skill, and they are, let's say, a very talented chiropractor, but they don't have a great work ethic. Is it possible to have success if you do not have a great work ethic?
It would be very difficult, Clay. Very, very difficult.
Well, you hang out with some really nice, very successful people.
Correct.
And is it common amongst these people that diligence and work ethic is? I mean, is it common that the successful people you hang out with have an intense work ethic?
They have a huge work ethic, 60 hours a week minimum.
60 hours. So this is again. I'm just throwing this out there for the Thrive Nation. I have never met, and I never will meet, a billionaire with a B, or a multimillionaire, or a millionaire who has built sustainable success without first having worked over 60 hours a week for 5 consecutive years.
This sounds kind of harsh, Clay.
But I'm saying, so of all the shows we do, we talk a lot about search engine optimization. We talk a lot about retargeting ads. We talk about performas. At the very foundation, you have to have a work ethic, a just absolute maniacal grind. And so I want to bring up some offensive things. And Chuck, can I go ahead and offend the listeners here?
Offend me on their behalf.
Okay.
How about that? I'll do it.
Where did the idea of the 40-hour work week come from? Chip, if you had to speculate, Chip, and I'm not trying to paint you into a corner and say, okay, you're supposed to know all history, but when did the concept of the 40-hour work week come about in your mind?
I'm not sure.
Ooh. Okay, Sean, let's go with
Super
Sean is sort of like he snuck into the studio today. Sean's a business coach. Hey. He was asking me some questions yesterday, and I said, hey, I'd be happy to answer them before or after the show. He's a great member of the team. Sean, take your stab at it. When did the 40-hour work week become the gold standard?
That was FDR. It was the New Deal, I believe.
You, my friend, have been doing your history reading. In 1938, and Chuck, I want to put this on the show notes so the listeners can check it out. It's called the Fair Labor Standards Act. The Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. And in 1938, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt thought, you know what we got to do? Dr. Sibley, we got to get some votes. We got to get at least half of America to start voting for me. I got to win again.
We got to get in office.
We got to get in. We got to stay in office. So what we got to do is we got to give the people what they want. If you're trying to get kids to vote for you, you'd say, all right, now that the election can be determined by kids under the age of 14. Even under the age of 12, we need to get a lot of people to vote. And so I, as president, as your potential president, would like to give out free candy for all the kids. And all the 8-year-olds are like, candy? We'll do anything for candy. Free candy for the kids. What? And ice cream before bed is required if you want. And no bedtimes. Yes. And you're going to get that vote. This is the best president ever. I don't know. What does he stand for? I don't know.
Cotton candy.
Is it sustainable? I don't know. What does the word sustainable mean? I don't know, but it's free candy. Look. So what happens is that FDR wants to get the votes. So in 1938, he gives the people what they want. What they want is a 40-hour work week. But up until that point, that wasn't normal. And if you read the Bible, which I'm going to be quoting a lot of today, the Bible talks about this. But let's go ahead and start with the first kind of Bible example. In Genesis, you ever heard of that book there, Sean? Sean, you ever heard of the book Genesis?
Yeah, that's the first one, right?
Yes.
So the beginning, maybe?
In Genesis, it said God creates the earth in 6 days. That's weird. It didn't say God created the earth in 5 days, equally divided days, where he took an hour lunch. No, in 6 days. But he rested on the 7th. But you say, that, I don't like that. Okay, then you notice that God gave Adam, if you look it up, God gave Adam the garden to work. Right? I don't like that at all. But he gave him the garden to work. Exodus talks about the importance of a 6-day mindset. Dr. Sibley, when you were growing Sibley Chiropractic, when you first started it, what did your days look like back in the day when you were just getting the business off the ground? Were you coming in right at 8:52, taking a break at noon, coming back around 1, leaving at 4:55?
No, I usually got to work around 6 or 6:30. I didn't see my first patient until about 8:30. During that time, I was cleaning the office, getting my day ready, doing whatever needed to be done to attain your goals.
So you were getting to work. Again, I just want to recap this because there's somebody going, what? What? I was going to make a bunch of money from my laptop by the pool. I was listening to some other podcasts on the top. We're now in the top 10 of iTunes right now in the whole world for business podcasts. In the whole world in the top 10. And I know there's one person in the top 10. And you know who you are. Get off my podcast. This guy, he loves to teach people. Well, what you can do is you can just work 20 hours a week from your laptop and you can make ClickFunnels and get rich. But it doesn't work. So you though were working how many hours? If you had to spec it, how many hours a week when you first started?
At least 60, 65 hours a week.
What?
Because if you love what you do, it's really not work. You're just going to go in there and do what needs to be done to get the job done.
This is a fundamental idea that if the listeners can get this today, Mr. Listener, I submit to you, if you get this idea, this will change your life. Rise and grind and shut the heck up until you get to where you want to go. Just shut up. Don't talk about, my ankles hurt. I've been standing all day. I've been standing all day for 18 years. I don't take lunch breaks. I don't recall the last time I ever took a lunch break. If you want to make a disproportionate amount of money, you've got to grind consistently for years. This would be like being a running back. Chubb, did you ever play football?
I did.
Okay, you know why I didn't like football?
I don't know why.
Because I was afraid of being hit all the time.
That's true. Yeah, that would be a reason to hate football.
I remember I was working out. I was like in 8th grade, 9th grade, and one of the guys in the I'm sorry, it was my 10th grade year, and I was working out. And at the time, I was very physically fit. And the strength coach pulls me aside and says, "Hey, son, I mean, have you ever thought about playing football?" And I'm a sophomore. I go, yeah, I mean, for like basketball, I was like the aggressive guy, but football, it's totally different. I mean, in basketball, you're kind of like an actor, and if someone touches you, you're like, "Oh, referee, ref, I was fouled." Look, and you fall down and put on a show, and you actually get applauded. Basketball basically teaches lying to kids. They basically teach you how to sell that you were fouled, and then when you do foul someone, pretend like you didn't. Like
yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? Ref.
Yeah, I played soccer too, so that was the whole game. Right?
Just pretending.
The flop, the dive. Oh God!
a strong gust of wind. Yeah. So what happens is that I'm playing basketball. Coach says, "Hey, have you ever thought about playing football?" This conversation goes on for 2 years. So my senior year, he invites me. He's like, "You got to try it out this year. I'm telling you, you could do it. You could be a tight end. You're strong. You're fast." So I do great on the little 40-yard dashes. I do great on the bench presses. I do great on all that stuff. When you get onto the field, I don't like the pain.
Well, that's a problem.
And this guy, I'm playing tight end. The guy in front of me, the defensive end, he can't really articulate himself, but he kept saying something to the effect of, "I'm going to effing kill you. I'm going to destroy it." I'm like, "Effing? What does that stand for?"
I don't understand.
Effing? Are you wanting to be my friend? And he hits me,
Is his name Effin? Was that his name?
True story. I run out there on one of my first plays, and I run straight across. He said my assignment was, as a tight end, was they hike the ball. I'm supposed to run forward a certain number of yards, hit the linebacker, and then, basically set kind of a block.
Yeah.
And then immediately take a hard right and catch the ball. I remember going forward, and I remember Coach coming out. I'm on my back, and he's like, "Clark, you got to keep your head up, man. You're going to get killed." And I'm like,
That's why I didn't want to play.
Right. So that's what entrepreneurship is like. If you don't want to work 60 hours a week, you just run out on the field and, my business failed. I don't know why it failed. Well, it failed because we're not working as much as it takes. All right. So according to Forbes, 9 out of 10 startups fail. It's because I've met these people. It's because they're not grinding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a Bible verse, and I'd like to have Dr. Sibley break it down from his literal perspective, let's just say from a business perspective. This is Colossians 3:23-24. Work. Remember, we're talking about work today. So the W stands for whatever you do, work at it with all of your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. Dr. Sibley, what does it mean in your mind to work as unto the Lord?
That means being straight up and honest with everybody you come into contact with. You treat them like family. You don't take advantage of them. And you always, always have a fair fee.
A fair fee.
Yes.
That's what that means to you.
Yes.
Chup, we work with some great clients.
Yeah.
So I'm going to brag on a client right now.
Do it.
This is one that gets me fired up. This one right here, this is kind of like the laser show. And we're going to get Marshall Morris, the business coach, on here in the next segment to talk about this. But it's called Delricht Research.
Yeah, he's got to get on there.
And we're helping these guys to franchise their brand. And these homies were a startup 2 years ago. And they're bringing in more than 6 figures on a monthly basis of profit. Are you guys talking about like people in the Bible that knew a lot about God? No, not talking about profits. They're not bringing in 100,000 profits. I don't know if there's that many profits. I mean,
that would be a lot of profits.
They're not bringing in like Benny Hinn and gathering like Richard Roberts, and they're not gathering 100,000 profits. They're making $100,000
profit.
Doll hairs? That's not very many doll hairs.
That's not a lot. That's like a half.
I'm talking about 100,000 dollarinis.
Dollarinis. Is that
big ones?
The big
We're talking about the cash,
smackaroonies,
the green stuff,
the greenbacks,
lettuce. No, cheddar. 100,000. These guys are doing great. You know why they're doing great? Because they're diligent doers. They reached out to us to learn about the path, but they execute the path.
True.
These guys are disciplined. And Chup, I'm just so excited to share their story. When I think about discipline and rigor, I think about cleaning our bathrooms, Chup.
Gosh,
I think about, we might have a great show. We might be highly motivated. But, Chup, if the bathroom is out of toilet paper, if the bathroom's not clean, what are we going to do, Chup?
We're going to be upset.
We're going to be upset. So, you know what we did? We reached out to probably the most disciplined janitorial service in Tulsa. They work with Google. They work with Newstar. They work with DuPont. They work with Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates. They work with Total Ending Concepts. And, Chup, tell us about them.
So this is Classic Janitorial, all right? You can get a hold of these guys at theclassicclean.com. theclassicclean.com, 918-671-2046, 918-671-2046, Classic Janitorial Services.
It blows my mind all the time. Check out those guys at theclassicclean.com. Turn your porcelain palace into a mecca of cleanliness. Make it a place where people come for tourism. Theclassicclean.com.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
conversation. It is the Thrivetime Show on your podcast, download, and radio. In Tulsa, I want to tell you thank you. I want to tell the people of South Korea thank you. I want to tell the people in Canada thank you. Florida, thank you. Guam, thank you. Manhattan.
Shout out Guam.
We have a Thriver that reached out just yesterday from Manhattan, who happens to be a real estate developer there. And I want to give a big thank you to Jim Stovall. Chup, do you know the Jim Stovall story? Do you know about Jim Stovall?
Not in depth, but yeah, slightly.
Well, as we're talking about the disciplined diligence being the difference maker, that's what we're talking about today. I can think of nobody else who is disciplined and diligent like Jim Stovall. My main man, Jim Stovall, is blind, which means he can't see.
Oh.
And he actually listens to an audiobook every day. He takes the audio, puts it on, like, you speed it up twice, 3 times, whatever. He listens to a complete book every day. Then he started a thing called the Narrative Network. If you look it up, you can look at the name of his company. I don't want to get it incorrect here. But he started a multi-million-dollar company. He's a New York Times bestselling author, and he's now writing books for the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And occasionally he makes poor life choices and listens to our show. And he called me on Friday, and he says, hey, I want you to know I listened to your show on ABC 123, and it's just honor. I'm honored to have a guy who is one of the top motivational speakers on the planet, one of the top authorities on entrepreneurship, a guy who is heading up the Napoleon Hill Foundation for their books, releasing a lot of new books through the Napoleon Hill Foundation. It's great to know that you are listening, sir, but it's also great for the listeners, hopefully, to know that the process of disciplined diligence never stops. He's already achieved that success. And Marshall, I want to tap into your genius about this concept. Why do the diligent doers always win? Why do your clients that are the diligent doers always win, regardless of their business plan?
Because if you weren't diligent and you didn't work hard and you didn't invest your time, money, resources into growing something, then it wouldn't feel good after you've actually achieved it. So I have this theory, Clay, of why ideas are in and of themselves are not worth anything. It's because anybody can have one.
Keep going. I think you're on the verge of something amazing here.
There is no investment into having an idea. Anybody can just, at a drop of a hat, just have an idea. Now, good ideas, bad ideas, where the real fruit, the real profit is the investment, the diligence, the consistency over a long period of time in order to get to where you want to go.
Well, here's the deal, Thrive Nation. I'm going to put up on the big screen so you can see it, Chubb. Jim Stovall is now writing these books called The Wisdom for Winners. They're different volumes, and it is an official publication of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Now, he's writing these books for Napoleon Hill Changed My Life. And so Napoleon Hill was the coach for Oral Roberts. Napoleon Hill worked with FDR. Napoleon Hill was the man. Napoleon Hill was one of the first business coaches. He was the personal apprentice of Andrew Carnegie. And Jim Stovall is a Napoleon Hill apostle, if you were. He's already built a successful company called the Narrative Television Network. He's had his story, the book, The Ultimate Gift, distributed by 20th Century Fox. He's been a best-selling author. He's done all these things. He's written a book with Steve Forbes. And, Shep, I've been harassing him for a long time to get him to be like a weekly call-in guy on the show.
Yeah.
And I think we might be at a tipping point here. So, Jim, I don't know if you're listening right now, but, Jim, I feel like we're right at that verge of where it's going to happen. So what I want to do is I don't want to make it weird, and I don't want to apply pressure to you. I just want to say, no. Make it happen. Make it just you know this, Jim. You know you want to be on the show. This is weird. No, it's not weird. This is just me. Come to the butthead. Come to the butthead. Come here, Jim. Okay, there we go. I think we've gathered him now. I think he'll do it. I think we've got him. I think we just did.
He's here. Well, hey, what's up?
Okay, but anyway, Jim Stovall, I'm excited to maybe have you on the show, and if not, I'm excited to be rejected in front of the hundreds of thousands of podcast listeners. This next notable quote I want Dr. Sibley, Tulsa's #1 chiropractor, to break down is: discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Jim Rohn, the late, great self-help author. What does that mean there, Dr. Sibley?
You have to come early and stay late. It's like Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. You got to get that through your head.
Oh, but if you don't work hard, every other podcast, everything else we teach you will not work. And so Robert Kiyosaki comes in hot, Chup. I want to get your take on this. Notable quotable from Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, whose book he wrote with Sharon Lechter. And I've spoken to Sharon Lechter. Sharon Lechter, how you doing? So Robert Kiyosaki says, confidence comes from training and discipline, Chup.
So discipline, you've got to take action. And like Marshall was saying a minute ago, repeated action. You can't wait for the inspiration to come. You have to take action that will give you the inspiration and the confidence. And then the training aspect is, when you get good at things, you're a little more confident at them.
Think about this. Confidence is a byproduct of training and discipline. Confidence is it's a result of training and discipline. Marshall, you don't have confidence previous to the training and the discipline. The training and discipline comes first. Why do people struggle with this, Marshall?
People struggle with this is because the time that is needed in order to train effectively. I see a lot of people, they'll wait to spot check or train their team only when the emergency happens. See, what you have to do is you have to create the urgency before there is an emergency. You got to do this because otherwise you're waiting to be reactive. You're waiting till an employee chooses to leave or somebody makes a bad decision and you need to replace them. You need to put somebody else into that role, and then you got to rush around and try to train them up reactively, and you can't do that. But when you're proactively training your team and investing the time on a weekly,
not yearly,
weekly basis, okay, you have that scheduled time to train your team.
I don't think you realize what you just said. You said weekly. What? That seems
like not very strong.
At the same time, every single week, you've got to invest the time necessary to train up not just one person on your team, but everybody on your team.
Well, John Maxwell has a demotivational quote for anybody out there who's feeling kind of lazy. John Maxwell says, most people want to avoid pain, and discipline is usually painful.
Yeah.
So he's talking about most people want to avoid the pain, so what they do is they avoid the discipline. But then what happens is they get disciplined by the marketplace because they lose. And so I'll just give you an example. There's a service that we use to deliver our office supplies. So we signed up with a company called Onyx Imaging. They deliver our office supplies, so it saves me both time and money. But Chup, if we signed up as a client of theirs and they didn't actually show up, they would not have so many great Google reviews. They wouldn't have such a great reputation. We wouldn't want to have them on as a show sponsor, but they are disciplined. Chup, tell us about Onyx Imaging.
Yeah, these guys are super disciplined, and they're growing really fast right now, and it's really awesome to see. And so what we're working on is a lot of the stuff we're talking about training, right? And so these guys are actually going to give you free ink cartridge if you reach out to them for a printer service or office supply quote. You can get a hold of them at onyximaging.com, ONYXimaging.com, or give them a call at 918-627-6611.
My friends, you got to check out Onyx Imaging. Tell them that Clay Clark, Eric Chupp, Dr. Sibley, Marshall Morris sent you.
Want to attend the legendary Thrivetime Show Business Workshop for free? Subscribe on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com to claim your tickets. Want to live in a van down by the river? Come by and see us at our Riverwalk offices, and we'll be able to make your dreams come true.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio and podcast download. Today we're talking about discipline and how discipline is the difference maker. Discipline, diligence is the difference maker. And I just want to share this idea with somebody out there that needs to hear this. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this is not going to really take you to the bottom today. But I'm trying to give you that mentorship that I wish I would have had earlier. But this is what Lou Holtz says. Now, who's Lou Holtz?
Lou?
Well, people say, well, who's this person? Why is this person qualified to speak into my life? And that's fair. That's fair. Well, Lou Holtz was a football coach who had an abnormally high level of success pretty much everywhere he went. So he coached at the University of Arkansas, the University of Minnesota, North Carolina State, the College of William and Mary, Notre Dame, and he just kept winning all the time. No matter where he went, he would go into a program and turn it around. And this is what Lou Holtz has to say about Diligence. He says, winners embrace hard work. They love the discipline of it, the trade-off they're making to win. Losers, on the other hand, see it as punishment, and that's the difference. See, this is a crazy idea that's going to really irritate somebody out there, but hopefully this helps you. The other day, someone shouted at me, and they said, I would like to become a business coach for Thrive. And I said, that is awesome. You, that's great. That's great. Now, here's the deal. Every day, we have a meeting at 6 a.m. with our coaches. Every day at 6. So any of the client questions that happened the day before, Marshall, can get addressed in the meeting if for some reason it's above the pay grade, above the knowledge base, above the coach. So if the coach is in a meeting with a client and they don't know the answer to something, we can give them the answer every morning at 6. And so Dr. Zellner and I can get together and go over the answers previous to the meeting, or we can deal with it in the meeting. But every morning at 6, we have that meeting every morning at 6. And they said, yeah, I want to do the coaching. 6 a.m. is like a really tough thing for me.
Yeah.
So the person went through the charade and actually shadowed me for 2 days. They actually came to the building for 2 days, and they looked like the entire meeting like they were dying inside because they had to be there at 6. And so Lou Holtz says, winners embrace hard work. They love the discipline of it. They love the trade-off of it. They actually like it. Winners like the trade-offs. On the other hand, losers see it as punishment. And it looked like this adult man was being punished because he had to be there at 6 a.m. So I want to get your take on this, Marshall. And then I want to get Dr. Sibley's take on this and Eric Chupp's take on this. Why do winners embrace hard work? Marshall, I know that you embrace hard work. What's wrong with you?
Winners embrace hard work is because they know the fruit that they're going to reap as a result of this. And so this is something that Eric and I were talking about the other day. Is I've all but just foregone all of my weeknight activities, whatever they may be, just because we're getting up early, we're recording podcasts, we're being productive before everybody else wakes up in the morning.
So you is not going out to that special bar that you used to go. Remember where we met, Marshall? You ain't going there anymore.
Not going there.
Was that the Rainbow Room?
Jim, I don't know what you think, but I will say this. I remember Martha walks in there and the uplights was looking just right, and I thought to myself,
They were shining up to about his shoulder.
I said hello, and he said hi, and I said, yeah.
How are you doing?
All right. Sorry.
And so whatever that is, but making the trade-off of waking up early to get more things completed, and therefore being able to achieve more, and nobody else understands this. Everybody that you're around, your family, your friends, your coworkers, they're not going to understand the whole waking up early and being disciplined thing. They want to go off and do something different every single week. And as you surround yourself with more and more like-minded individuals, you realize they're all doing the same thing.
Right. Dr. Sibley, I want to get your take on this, my friend. Why do winners embrace the hard work? Why do you actually like working hard?
You have goals, and if you have goals, you have to achieve them. If you're a winner, it's just like having staff meetings. You have to have a staff meeting every week. How bad can things get in a week? Terrible.
Right.
Very bad.
Here's what you hear. You see entrepreneurs, though, all the time before we help fix them in our coaching program, where they say, we're so busy this week, we couldn't get to our meeting.
Yeah.
How can you be so... Dr. Sibley, if you're so busy you don't have a staff meeting, what's going to happen?
Chaos. We don't take care of our patients. It's a matter of honor. You've got to get your act together with your staff, all being on the same page, doing the same thing.
Oh, preach it.
Taking care of patients.
Oh, preach it.
So this is the other crazy thing that I hear during the group interview is they're like, how often are we evaluated? In so many other companies, they do the semi-annual review.
Oh, come on.
And so
how about every minute?
Yeah. If you think about that, you only receive feedback and improvement and training once or twice a year.
This is time for your semi-annual evaluation. I just want to say, well done. Yeah,
so what Dr. Sibley is
doing
so
good
important
for all 3 months in a row.
It can get bad in a week. It can get really bad in a week. think about how bad it can get in 6 months without providing any kind of feedback. It's amazing.
It's so ridiculous. I'm not going to give you a performance evaluation every quarter. What the crap? I'm going to sit down. I remember there was a guy I used to work with years ago who insisted on doing this because he went to some stupid management seminar taught by stupid people that make stupidly small checks.
How do you really feel?
It was stupid. And he says, we need to do quarterly evaluations with the people. We need to do the quarterly evaluations with them. I said, what? We need, and the conversations are so insincere, Chuck. They're like, this quarter overall, you're what I would call
vis-a-vis the growth of the opportunity.
Details is what you want to focus on more this quarter.
You got to check the specs on the inline rotary girder.
So we move on. We're talking about the discipline diligence needed to become.
You know what? I had something to say on that.
Yes, you preach the good news.
Talking about winners embrace hard work. You know what's fun about like getting up early or staying up late and working? Being up doing stuff when you know for a fact everybody else in your entire town is in bed. It's a cool thing. Like it just once you get into that groove and into that grind, it's fun to know that you're getting so much more done than everybody else.
I got the entire St. Pete Beach to myself when I got up at 5 a.m.
Not a whole lot of traffic.
Not a whole lot of people there. Now, I want to tell the listeners about this. This is a Jim Rohn notable quotable. Jim Rohn says, "We must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret or disappointment."
That's so true.
So I want to ask you, Mr. Listener, headed into the break here, as you think about this over the break. In what area of your life, of what area of our lives are we not being as disciplined as we should be? In what area? I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there who says, I've got it all together. I've never had any mistakes in my life. And that's cool. And that's why we're going to have you on as a guest, and you can teach the good news of how to be perfect. But for me, I know that I've had drifting occur in my life in different areas. And there's areas where you're just killing it at work, but maybe you're doing a horrible job at home with the family. Or maybe you're doing a great job with the family. You're just like a superstar dad, but you're just dropping the ball at work. And so if you need some accountability, you need some accounting, you need somebody to stay on top of your finances, make sure you're paying your taxes on time, make sure you're taking the proper write-offs, and not too many write-offs. You're being ethical with your accounting. I encourage you to go to hoodcpas.com. hoodcpas.com. I've been business coaching for over a decade, and unfortunately, a lot of entrepreneurs are not disciplined in the area of accounting. And if you need a little help, go to hoodcpas.com. They'll be happy to help you. That's hoodcpas.com. Stay tuned.
To claim your tickets to the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop for free, all you have to do is to subscribe to the Thrivetime Show on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com. To claim your star in the National Star Registry, we can't help you.
Thrive Nation, welcome to another exciting edition of the Thrivetime Show on your radio. And on today's show, I'm going to say some things that are probably just a little offensive to somebody out there. And so we're talking about how discipline is the difference maker. Discipline, diligence is the difference maker. And here I come with my first offensive hot take of today's show. Here it is. Proverbs 10:4 reads, "Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth." Let's repeat. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. So what does that mean? Lazy, so you're not working hard. That creates poverty. What?
It seems weird.
But diligent hands bring wealth. Now, this was written previous to our tax system. So our current tax system, this is our current tax system. What it says is diligent hands outperform lazy people. So we must take half of what they make and give it to negligent people, thus perpetuating negligence, thus encouraging negligence, thus actually encouraging people to not work hard. So as an example, my typical work day, I start my first meeting of the day is at 6 a.m. I'm up at, usually I'm starting doing things related to work at 5, okay, for sure by 5. And I plan out my day, and then I wrap it up around 5. So when I am working, I like to tell myself this little encouraging thing, Chup. Around like 11 o'clock every day, around 11, because I've been from 5 to 11. That's about 6 hours.
Yep.
I usually like to say, "Good job, Tiger," and then I'll say back to myself, hey, thanks.
Thanks, man.
And then I'll say, hey, thanks for working the first half of your day for all the lazy people. Now you get to work for yourself. And I go,
So kick it into gear.
right. So I kick it into gear that last half of the day because the first half of the day I'm working hard for other people.
Right.
The second half I work. So I'm going to tell you this. If you are listening to today's show and you are a business owner and you are not where you want to be financially and you are working less than 70 hours a week, you are a pathetic loser.
Whoa.
So if you have a business and you're not where you want to be financially and you are working less than 70 hours a week, you are a pathetic loser. And you actually are being punished by God directly because it's in the Bible as a consequence. But the good thing is once you have a breakdown, you'll eventually have a breakthrough. So what I want you to do is continue being negligent, get your account balance down to about zero.
Or a little under that.
Yeah, get into that bankruptcy zone, and then you're going to find some serious motivation the first time that you check the balance of your checking account. But in the meantime, you take your high and mighty mindset towards wanting to maintain life balance. You run around, you go to your chamber events, you're going to show up, they're going to have a speaker, they'll be speaking this week, next week, somewhere, and they always talk about, this is the topic they like to talk about at these high and mighty chamber events led by people that have never started their own company. They say,
True.
today we're going to talk about life balance, the importance of keeping balance. Meanwhile, your account balance is getting smaller. And you can argue with the Earth's gravitational pull, and you can argue with how life works, but if you are negligent, you deserve poverty.
Oh, God.
And you're being punished directly by God himself. So this is what God, I believe, is saying to you right now. You, my friend, are poor, and you deserve it, because I wrote this little book called the Bible, and it says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Furthermore, in the Bible, Chup, it says, he that spareth. Oh, see, this is, gosh, Clay, you are so negative this morning. You're so negative today. You're so negative this afternoon. Proverbs 13:24. Let's put this on the show notes. It says, whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. So I'm choosing, I believe you're listening to the show because you want mentorship. Therefore, you've done some internship into the podcast, into the radio show, and you want to know how to become successful. So I'm telling you, if I spared the rod, it would mean that I hate you. So I'm telling you right now, I'm going to beat you with the dumbstick. If you work less than 70 hours a week and you're not where you want to be financially, you deserve poverty and you're being punished by God. Now, that's my hot take. I'll go with the more moderate version of this. Dr. Sibley, feel free to argue with me. But for the listener out there who has a business and they're not making any money at all, but they take off on Fridays, they work 8 hours a day, they obsess about life balance, what advice would you have for them?
You have to work, meet people, shake their hands, kiss babies, whatever it takes to get people into your business. It's just like with your staff. It's so important for them to carry your same message for your whole office. And when I was managing practices, this is what I would tell them, that you really have to work. You can't play golf. You can't go out and buy a big car. What is your profit number? Tell me what your break-even number is so that we can start really making some solid improvement in the profit of your business.
Yes.
And so what Dr. Sibley just said is so important. If you're marketing or doing sales or looking to hire somebody, just testing an idea, and if the idea doesn't work and then you shut down, that's not a good way to go about business. You said you got to do whatever it takes. You got to get out there and just stand out on the sidewalk passing out flyers. You got to go around to other businesses yourself. You got to spend as much money that you need to get people into your business. Because if you do it, but you don't achieve the results that you want, then you've not completed it. You've not finished.
You got to get your name in front of people. You've got to have that recognition. It's just like Sibley, oh, he's a chiropractor. Right. And I hope that when they hear the name Sibley, they think quality. Because when they come in my office, they don't wait. They get treated. There's no barriers. If they have questions,
think about this. You think about work ethic. Okay, there's a song out there. Well, most of the songs that are on the radio, I don't agree with the lyrics, and so I don't typically quote them too much. I do like to mock Post Malone on a continual basis, but the lyrics, there's a song out there by a group called Imagine Dragons, and it says, "Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes, 'cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes, you take me to the top, I'm ready for. Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes. Always had a fear of being typical, looking at my body, feeling miserable. Always hanging on to the visual. I want to be invisible. Looking at my years like a martyrdom. Everybody needs to be a part of them. Never be enough. I'm the prodigal son. I was born to run. I was born for this." And he talks about just grinding. And I'm just telling you, it's so hard for me to even relate to somebody who's lazy. Honestly, it's like been my prayer this year. I'm like, Lord, please teach me to not hate everyone who's a lazy idiot. And then I realized, Clay, you just said the word idiot while praying to me. Okay. Lord, please help me to
not think of them as idiots.
Yeah, because they take half of my check. They wake up at 8 a.m. every day. They hustle into work right at 9 o'clock. They take their 1 hour lunch. They leave nice and early, and they never get paid. I'm just telling you, if you are not disciplined, you are going to lose. John Wooden, the best basketball coach in the history of NCAA basketball. He won 10 championships in 12 years with players of all heights and sizes and backgrounds. I mean, he won with a very, very small lineup. He also won with big lineups. I mean, the guy's just dominant. He says, discipline yourself and others won't need to. Think about that. That's amazing. So I think about when I was an idiot, and one of the things I used to do was I worked at Target, and I would try to eat all of the pretzels when my boss wasn't watching. So whenever the boss would leave the area, I would immediately head over there from the electronics, and I'm like, no one will see you.
They're so good.
And there's like you're allowed to have one pretzel per shift or something, and I would just eat all of
a week's worth.
I'm not kidding. I'd eat like 8 pretzels. And then my boss would have these ridiculous team huddles. And he goes, guys, somebody is eating like at least 8 pretzels per shift. And I don't know who it is. We don't have cameras yet. But I just want to ask you guys, do you guys know who's doing this? And I don't know who it is.
Who would do that?
It's like, Clay, I feel like you were over in that area. Well, I was over in that area, but I can't. I mean, have you had a pretzel? He says, well, Clay, how many have you had? I don't really know how many. Yeah. I can't hard to be put a specific number on it.
It's bites.
Well, the thing is, he had to constantly discipline me because I was not disciplined. And that's why I worked at an entry-level job at Target, because I sucked at the game of life. And you need to have an entry-level job at Target so people that suck at the game of life have somewhere to start. But you're going to stay at the bottom. You're going to be the carp of life if you cannot be disciplined. You and your stupid Ty Lopez get rich on the beach videos, you're going to be poor if you cannot get past the idea that diligence is needed to become successful. You cannot get rich quick, and anybody who's trying to get rich quick, it's going to not work for you. I don't care what MLM you're a part of, it's going to implode and you're going to lose. You cannot get rich quick. You must become a disciplined doer. Stay tuned.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. It's the Thrivetime Show on your radio. And today we're talking about disciplined diligence is the difference maker. I now want to wage war on a concept that I have been holding back. I haven't really gone off on it this is about 3 years I've kind of held back. And now it's time to wage war on this idea.
I'm scared and excited.
I'm very excited.
This concept of you saying to people, not you, our listeners. Our listeners don't say these things. This is for your friends. This is after this today's show, you would say, hey, Gary, you should hear this. You share it with your friend because this isn't about you. It's saying I did my best and missing deadlines. So you're supposed to get something done. And you have 3 ways, Marshall, that our current culture allows you to justify not getting something done.
Okay, so somebody says they're going to do something, they don't do it, they say one of these 3 things.
And these also work in a meeting to avoid actually doing anything. It's a way to avoid it being assigned to you.
Got it.
So I think of people that I know that we've known that they do these 3 moves. There's those 3 moves that society has. I want to maybe Dr. Sibley has heard these in his offices. Maybe not. Maybe I've officed in an alternative universe where people use these 3 excuses to not get things done on time or to avoid doing something entirely. So let's go ahead and I'll role play the 3. Okay, Marshall.
Okay.
So you're going to try. I'm a coder.
I'm holding you accountable.
I'm a coder.
Okay.
And you want to assign me something, and I'm going to use excuse number 1, which is, by the way, it's misunderstanding, or you could call it miscommunication.
These are the 3.
This is number 1. This is misunderstanding or miscommunication, or just I don't get it.
Okay.
It's just going to be this. I'm gonna kind of hang in that area until you wear out as the owner and you won't assign it to me. Yeah. Here we go. Go for it.
Okay. So Clay, it looks like today is Monday. Are you finished with that feature that we were supposed to be coding out?
Well, I'll have something great to show you today. I'll tell you that.
You'll have something great to show?
Yeah, for sure. It'd be phenomenal.
Today is the actual due date for it, so it's supposed to be done for this meeting. So.
Well, yeah. Oh no, and I'll have something to show you. I mean, for sure.
So is it done?
Well, I mean, it's very complex. I mean, there's a lot of levels of coding. You've got WordPress. You got to plug in. I've got to adjust some things. There's just there's a lot of there. I want to I mean, there's a lot of work to do.
But is the feature done? Is it complete?
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely I'll have something to show you today. I can show you for sure.
So when you say you'll have something, is it done or not done?
I'd put it in the done category, but I mean, are you ever really done? I mean, it's all about really just making things perfect. So I'm going to get it out there, and I'm going to have something to show you.
Okay, so rather black or white, is it done or not done?
Well, what color is done?
Oh, nice.
But all I'm saying is, no, they sit there and they sit constantly, and then when you finally next week comes
right,
and
right.
It wasn't done.
Okay, wasn't done.
Can you follow up with me? Let's do that. Okay.
Okay. So Clay, we're following up again here. Is the feature completed? Are you done with the feature there?
There wasn't the way you communicated it via email. There wasn't a lot of clarity. There was a miscommunication. I feel like if you could be a little more clear about your expectations, then it would be easier for me to hit those expectations. I feel like really it's a communication issue. I think if you could just work on how you communicate with me, that could help me.
So what you're saying is when I communicated what needed to be done, it was not
this stupid conversation goes round and round and round and round and round, and they call it miscommunication, but it's intentionally being negligent.
Right.
Here's excuse number 2. This is what.
Okay, nice.
Now this is the emotional one.
Oh.
Now if you're a woman, what you want to do to make this work is you want to cry. And if you're a man, you want to act like there's a personal issue that you can't talk about, and you're just violently obstinate. But I'm going to go with the woman one because I think this is the one I've prepared myself psychologically for this morning.
Okay,
go for it.
Okay, so Clay, did you go ahead and get that project completed like we talked about last week?
No. I did my best. There's a lot of personal things happening about it.
What so aside from the personal things here at work,
I did my best.
So
I did my best.
How dare you attack me, Marshall?
So with
my wife wants me to be home with her. You're ruining my life. Ah! And they just leave. And somehow you, as an owner, feel bad because they said they did their best while crying.
And walking out laughing when you can't see their face anymore.
Right. Now here's the man response. This is the angry man.
There we go.
The hostile man. Then this is the emotional. Men tend to take it to the emotional, and here it is. This happened to me on Friday, by the way, so I'm ready with this one.
All right.
Spot on impersonation.
So Clavis, did you get the project?
I don't appreciate you talking to me. I've asked you, I don't know how many times my name is Clay. I don't know. I'm serious. I'm just telling you, man. You're on my last nerve right now.
So Clay, did you complete the project like we had talked about?
Do you ever come by and say thank you? No. Do you ever say anything positive? No. I've busted my. This is a show that I have to edit, but I bust my derriere every day for this company, and then you're going to come here and ask me, did I get it done? Right. Okay, sure. Right.
I'm sure this only happens in our office.
This is a move. This is a move. Okay,
Yeah.
so you got miscommunication.
Yep.
You've got the emotional. Now, the third is the move that is a really good move. It's been used by people for centuries. I believe thousands of years, potentially. I don't get Dr. Sibley's take on this one. Dr. Sibley, this is the I forgot move.
Oh.
Where you have people in your office or team that don't write anything down on purpose. And then so you're having a meeting with them, and they're not writing things down. You're having a staff meeting, and they're not taking notes. And then they say, I forgot. Can you wage war on this idea of I forgot? What happens to people who forget a lot?
Well, in a staff meeting, we're prepared. We have an agenda, and we go through our agenda. And they have certain goals that they're supposed to meet each week. And those goals are, did you communicate? Did you educate? Did you tell people about what we do? Does everybody know what we treat? And if they're not doing that, then the business is going down. And if our business is not profitable, they don't have a job.
And what would you say to the entrepreneur out there that has a business and they're allowing their staff to tell them as a valid excuse in their mind that the reason why they didn't get something done is that they forgot? What would you say to the entrepreneur that's allowing that to happen?
Well, people forget, and you can give them one chance, but they only get one. The second time I told them, it could be curtains, because there's just really not any excuse when you sit in front of them and tell them exactly what to do, and then they don't do it.
It's terrible.
Now, here is where I think a lot of people are forgetting. I want to help the listener out there. According to Psychology Today, Marshall, there's an article called Are Smartphones Making Us Stupid?
Stupid.
In June of 2016, another study reported that the typical smartphone owner interacts with his or her phone 85 times per day. This includes upon waking up and just before going to sleep, and oftentimes in the middle of the night. So, Chup, there's somebody out there, and this is what's happening. You're opening your phone. You have your email. Your email's pushed to your phone now.
Right.
So you're having a client or your boss or somebody email you, and you open the email when you're at dinner on a Friday night, and you forget to write it down on a to-do list. So now you forgot to complete the item because you opened up the email from your smartphone while at dinner.
Right.
Or your boss texted you what to do. He sent you a text, or she sent you a text, but because you opened up the text message while, let's say, skiing in Colorado, you forgot to put it on your to-do list, so you don't have that notification anymore. So now I see that as a thing all the time, Marshall. So help the entrepreneurs out there that have all these work-related push notifications go into their phone.
I have a move for this, okay? And I'm very, 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 very passionate about this. But don't read any form of communication.
Come on now.
Don't answer a phone call. Don't read a text message.
Voicemail.
Don't listen to a voicemail. Don't read an email until you are prepared to respond to it.
Oh, come on now.
Because there is nothing good that can come of that. If you are in a business meeting answering the phone call, and I'm sure nobody else has had this happen.
Oh,
to
this
them,
makes me crazy.
But you call someone, they're like, hello, this is Marshall. And they're like, yeah, I need to talk to you. Oh, I can't talk right now. I'm in a meeting.
So why did you answer
Why did you answer in the first place? And so if you answer these messages, if you read a text message right before going into a business meeting, if you read an email before going in, the majority of what other people are going to communicate to you are negative things. So the likelihood that it is going to just wreck your brain or get you thinking about something other than what you're about to go take care of is a high likelihood. You got to make sure that you only respond once you are in a place.
Hey, I made some great hamburgers last night.
Thank you.
No, I did. Incredible. I put a lot of olive oil on them.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my wife texted me last minute, and she asked me to get some olive oil, so I got the olive oil. I got that picked up, and then she also wanted me to pick up the organic burgers.
Yes.
I did that, and then we're going to be leaving here for Kentucky later today. You know that? We're going to Kentucky.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we are. We're going to Kentucky.
Okay.
This is what happens is people just bring up unrelated things. No, this is
What are we talking about?
That's what I'm saying. That's what your smartphone does.
Right.
You're here having a conversation that's linear, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I bring up a truthful thing that I just made hamburgers. And you're like, what the crap are you doing?
What am I supposed to do?
Clay, you know we're on the radio still, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Marshall.
Yes.
I want to show you my rash.
Oh.
I've seen it, dude. You got to see this thing.
It's awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, have you seen this picture of this cat?
Wait, what?
Hey, seriously, there's an awesome picture of a cat on my Facebook. I
I'm
want to show it
about
to
to
you.
go into a meeting. We are doing a radio show here. I'm not. I can't see this.
Well, here's the thing.
Do you know the origin of the word rectum?
Dang, no, killed him.
All right. Back to you, Chip.
This is look what you did. Look what you did.
This is a
It worked. I forgot what I was going to say. No, the move. Back to leaving the notifications on your phone. That's what I do. If I have missed phone calls, voicemails, text messages, emails, do not check them like Marshall was saying during the day. But then the caveat to this is back to the outline here: discipline, diligence. You've got to be disciplined and diligent enough to make time in your schedule to check all of those messages within 12 or 24 hours, right? So that you're not drifting along.
Do you ever feel like that Braille spell checkers get a feeling when something's wrong?
Oh, my God.
Oh my gosh!
What? I mean, you ever thought about that? Like, you know
That
what I
is
mean?
unbelievable.
If you dropped your car keys in lava, would you go get them or would you just let them melt? Oh, my. What? These are questions I have. I'm sorry to distract you guys. This is what happens, though. People with smartphones all the time. Is it not crazy?
I'm confused.
This is what people go through, but it's everything. You use these examples.
Culturally, we accept lingerie. Do you believe in mangerie?
Oh my gosh!
This is a topic I can talk about.
I'm prepared for this.
Do you like peanut butter?
Yes, I love peanut butter. But the real question is, what kind of peanut butter do you like? Do you like the organic, the sugar-free?
I don't, but that's what I choose.
Do you think that those little packets that you put the Clorox in are the better way to go, or do you think that just pouring the detergent in makes more sense?
I like the pouring of.
Well, it's easier to put the Tide Pods
but
in
it's
your mouth.
easy.
Hot
but-
Pockets,
oh
how
my
often
gosh.
do you eat them?
Hot Pockets.
Do you like Hot Pockets?
Love them.
Okay.
Daily?
This is what's happening. Turn your phone off. It's like, it's painful. Dr. Sim, is it not painful to see people in a meeting with their smartphone on, just getting interrupted?
It just turn it off. Just turn it off.
Don't turn it over and put it down. Just get it out of the sight. Turn the ringer off. Turn it off.
But this is what people are doing. They at no point do they make a point. It just doesn't make any sense. So, speaking of discipline, let's talk about Platinum Pest and Lawn. There, Chip. Platinum Pest and Lawn. These guys are a great Tulsa-based company, and Chip, they have an incredible no-brainer offer for our listeners out there. I mean, if you have mosquitoes that are populating your backyard, if you have insects, you have snakes by your lakes, you have mosquitoes in your mojito,
Ants in your pants.
Chip, who do we call?
Platinum Pest and Lawn. Platinum-pestcontrol.com. You got to get a hold of these guys for free termite inspection. They're doing $200 off of a treatment if you need it. 918-376-0857. 918-376-0857. It's platinum-pestcontrol.com.
Chip, I like that number so much, I'm going to say it again. That's 918-376-0857. Stay tuned.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. For all of you listeners out there that have helped us get into the top 10 of the iTunes business charts, thank you. And we appreciate you for subscribing to the podcast.
Yeah.
And for a limited time, I'm not sure exactly how many more months we're going to do this, but if you do subscribe to the Thrivetime Show on iTunes and you leave us an objective review, and you email us proof that you did it, we will send you 2 tickets to our next upcoming workshop for free. And we're talking about disciplined diligence is the difference maker today. And I want to start by reading a notable quotable from Joyce Myers. Now, Joyce Meyer. Now, who's Joyce Meyer? Joyce Meyer is a Christian author. She's a pastor. She's a woman who grew up with a really, really, really terrible childhood. And I like her because she preaches what I would call man law. She preaches the difficult lessons that people need to learn and that the world doesn't teach. Because the world wants you to believe that if you don't work hard, it's okay. And so we've created a welfare state. And so we have a lot of people right now in our country that don't pay any taxes at all. And at all. I mean, at all. People that literally don't pay any taxes. They don't work at all. And it's a result of having entitlement. They now have entitlement. Everyone feels like they deserve to have college. So as an example, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we broadcast from, there's Tulsa community college. And I'm going to attack this idea and probably get some hate emails. That's okay. But we've been now, the city of Tulsa has been sold, and through popular vote, people have now signed off that everyone in Tulsa should get free community college. Everyone. So your freshman year, there's certain parts of your education. If you go to TCC, Chip, are you aware of this?
I'm not. I did not know this.
Yeah, so you can. It depends on certain circumstances, but essentially everybody can go to college now without really paying for it if you want to. I mean, there's ways to do it. If you can't afford it, it's like, okay, we'll help you out, we'll hook you up. And so people don't value what they get for free.
Right.
So I've been asked in years past to volunteer to speak at said university. And when I'm there, nobody cares because people don't value what they don't pay for. So Joyce Meyer talks about discipline and in developing as a business person. She says, I have learned that I really do have discipline, self-control, and patience. But they were given to me as a seed, and it's up to me to choose to develop them. So she's saying she was given the seeds of discipline, self-control, patience. She's saying all of us were given the seed of discipline, self-control, and patience, but she's also saying that it's up to her to choose to develop them. Proverbs 14:23 piles on by saying, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Wow. Vince Lombardi, the NFL legendary coach, National Football League, he says, it's easy to have faith in yourself and have discipline when you're a winner, when you're number one. But you've got to have faith and discipline when you're not a winner. So I want to get Dr. Sibley's take on this. What would you say, Dr. Sibley, for an entrepreneur out there that is struggling to develop discipline in their life? And they're coming to us with a sincere heart, wanting to become disciplined, or at least they believe a sincere heart. They're saying, I know myself, and I know I tend to always sleep in. I make to-do lists. I make big goals, never get anything done. And I found myself at the age of late 30s, and I'm having no traction with my life, and I want to become a more disciplined person. What advice would you have, Dr. Sibley?
You have to have a plan before you can have discipline. Discipline is working the plan. And your plan has to have discipline to work. So what I'm saying to the young entrepreneur out there is go early, stay late, work hard, keep your nose to the grindstone, so to speak, and you will see results. You'll see the fruits of your labor, but you have to labor first.
So let me give you an example here. At your clinic at Dr. John Sibley, your website is drjohnsibley.com. You're a Tulsa chiropractor, and you've treated famous patients like Wayne Gretzky.
The great one.
You've coached. How many chiropractors did you coach at the peak of your business endeavor where you were coaching chiropractors before you decided to transition into some other things?
Between 700 and 800 offices across the United States.
You were coaching 700 to 800 chiropractors
across the United States and Canada.
What was the name of that organization?
Pinnacle.
And so to get to that level of success, you've had to be very, very consistent.
Very.
But you've seen a lot of your colleagues that graduated about the same time that you did that haven't been very disciplined, and their practices have struggled as a result of that. So I just want to know, where does that desire to be disciplined come from? What's motivating you?
What motivates me is that I love helping people. And if you don't love helping people, then you're not going to be good as a physician. So, number one, you got to like what you do. You got to go early, stay late, as I've always said. But the main thing that I see in doctors that are not successful is that they're lazy. They don't want to do the things that we tell them to do to become successful. We give them the plan, but they've got to work the plan.
I want to tell the listeners out there what motivates me, and hopefully this is helpful for somebody. When I first started my businesses, DJConnection.com was the first business. I was entirely motivated to show everybody who mocked me as a kid because I stuttered that I was going to be more successful than them. I wanted to go to my high school reunion. I wanted to see people. I wanted to let them know I'm winning, you're losing. There it is. I wanted just to beat them. It was very competitive for me. I just wanted to outperform everybody else. Then, when my son was born blind, I transitioned from wanting to be from being bitter to wanting to help other people get better. And that's kind of where I've been at the last decade or so, is that I wish somebody would have given me that tough love early on, because I feel like that would have helped me have success faster. And there's certain areas of my business where I didn't have the discipline that I needed. And I just want to encourage you out there. This is a Bible verse that's going to feel really negative, but it's in the Bible. So I'm not attacking you. It's the Bible. The Bible's attacking you. It reads, anyone, this is 1 Timothy 5:8, by the way, 1 Timothy 5:8. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Worse? What? That means it's better to actually not be a Christian? The Bible's saying it's better to not be a Christian than to be lazy? That's what I'm reading right here in the Bible, the good book, 1 Timothy 5:8. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Well, that seems pretty intense. I tell you what, if you want to go to a place that's not super intense, where they're going to treat you really nicely and they're not going to just beat you over the head with judgment, you want to go to drjohnsibley.com and schedule your first chiropractic adjustment. They're going to come in. They're not going to judge you. They're going to help you get in the best condition. They're going to help you get to a state of wellness. When we come back, I want Dr. John Sibley to tell us about the tender, loving care that they provide at drjohnsibley.com. Stay tuned.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
We're talking today about disciplined diligence and how it is the difference maker. And when you hear the word discipline, you hear the word diligence, you think about the steady application of effort, you think about grinding, you think about work ethic, but you also have to make a product that people love. I mean, you have to deliver a service that people love. I mean, you could just be so motivated. You could just get to work every day and I'm just going to dominate. But if you're so intense that you don't have any employees, or you're so intense with your grinding that you don't have any customers, that doesn't work. So you have to be able to offer a service or a product that the world wants, while also having that. It's like a yin and the yang. You got to be that disciplined rigor to get it done, but you also have to offer a product that the world wants.
Right.
And so Dr. John Sibley, in my mind, is a good example, a good personification of discipline meeting great customer service. And so I want to talk about drjohnsibley.com, your chiropractic practice. I would like for you to share with the listeners out there how you instill rigor in your practice, but also the kind of tender, loving care and quality service that you guys provide there for the customer. My friend, you have the floor.
Well, when people are coming into a doctor of any credential or any type, they're looking for one thing, and that's answers to their problems. So at our office, when a patient comes in, we already know their name. We know their first name. They walk in the door. You must be John Smith. Yes, I am. We have some entry.
How do you know their name?
Because they're already on the book, and we don't know them, and we know all our other patients, so they must be a new patient.
Okay.
So they have some paperwork to fill out, and then we go back into consultation, and I talk to them, and I'll ask them, what's bothering you? What is your problem? Why did you come here? Who referred you to me? And those kind of things. And I get to know the patient, get to have a rapport with the patient, and then we can go into examination. I think that this is your problem. I think that we can help you with this problem, whether it's sciatica, headache, sinus trouble.
What makes your chiropractic practice different from other chiropractic practices? Why have you been able to have so much success when, unfortunately, a lot of chiropractors have gone into business and failed in the world of business?
I think it's trust. I think my patients trust me. I would not do anything that would not be in their best interest. And that's including not treating them. If they have a problem that I don't think I can handle, I will get them where they need to go. And that's probably
where does your sense of self-discipline come from, though? Because I've literally coached a lot of chiropractors, some of which are only open on days where they feel like it. Like, they literally will cancel if they don't feel like it. They'll just shut it down for the day. I've actually worked with one chiropractor years ago who just would not have staff meetings if he felt like he was too busy. He just wouldn't have them. He just consistently would not open at consistent times. I mean, where does your discipline and rigor come from?
I've always tried to be of service to my patients, and we start in the morning at 8:30, and it's sometimes 7 o'clock or 7:30 before we are finished, because our hours are when our last patient has been taken care of.
You say here on your list of services, you guys treat allergies, arm pain, arthritis, back pain, bursitis, carpal tunnel, neck pain, numbness, pinched nerves, leg pain, low back pain, shingles. I want to ask you this, though. How can a chiropractor, you put on the list here, this might be an error, how can you fix bedwetting? It says you can help with bedwetting? What are you doing? What's going on there?
Bedwetting is usually a part of the autonomic nervous system, and it usually manifests itself with a structural problem or a structural misalignment in the pelvis. So by realigning the pelvis, getting all of the nerve impingement out of the way so it's functioning freely, they quit bedwetting.
What about fertility? How can you help with fertility?
I use acupuncture for that, and I work for a number of infertility doctors. And if you're an infertility patient, it just costs hundreds, tens of thousands of dollars. So we came up with an acupuncture formula that we use the acupuncture needles on the spleen meridian, which is on the inside of the leg, and we have got a number of patients to conceive. I have a funny story about that.
Yeah.
I had a lady that I did do this procedure on. I probably treated her 4 or 5 times. She left. I said, I hope that this works for you. Please let me know. So I saw her coming across the parking lot, running into my office. I came out at the same time, and she screamed, and the office was just full of people. Dr. Sibley, you got me pregnant.
Oh, wow. Hey, everybody.
Hey, whoa, wait. Oh,
I said,
very
now,
committed.
Let's
a little bit of context, please.
I said, let me explain that a little bit.
Wow.
That's pretty funny.
She's an acupuncture patient.
Oh,
there we go.
Okay, now, so if anybody out there, if you want Dr. Sibley to get you pregnant, call the phone number 918-749-5741, 918-749-5741. That's drjohnsibley.com. He's on the southeast corner of 51st and Harvard, and if you turn in right at the Chili's sign, you'll run right into the office there. He'll give you a free X-ray. He'll give you same-day appointments. There's really no waiting times, and he'll get you pregnant. I mean, Chuck, think about that. That's what he can do for you.
That's a great deal.
Chuck,
that's a no-brainer right there.
Chuck, do you offer a similar service?
I don't.
Okay. All right, we move on. We're talking about daily diligence, and discipline diligence is the difference maker. I want to read a notable quotable here from Exodus 20:11 from that offensive book called the Bible, which reads, For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Again, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, all that is in them, but he rested on the 7th day. Marshall. Therefore, the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Marshall.
I'm reading the wrong version. Which version has martial law through it?
It's martial law.
It's
It was
implied.
actually it's intertestamental.
Okay.
They voted it out. But
It's a thing.
anyway, so Marshall, talk to the listener out there who owns a business who refuses to work 6 days a week, but yet is not profitable.
This is a big principle. You cannot get work done. You cannot grow a successful business unless you are working at least 6 days.
Come on now.
Okay. And so you look at all of the top entrepreneurs. Let's go with maybe you don't want to take the quote from the Bible,
Yeah.
but maybe like Elon Musk.
Oh, no, he's in the Bible, isn't he?
He's not in the Bible.
Oh.
But
Isn't he a Judeo-Christian?
He is actually not a Judeo-Christian.
Oh, okay.
And so what he says is you have to work at least 80 to 100 hour work weeks, 80 to 100 hour work weeks in order to improve your odds of success.
What businesses has Elon Musk done?
Well, he's done PayPal.
Never heard of it. No.
And then Tesla.
Don't know what that is.
And then SpaceX.
That doesn't matter to me.
And Solar City.
It's just really these
Sounds
are all
boring.
insignificant
All of
things.
these small companies.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrivetime Show on your radio. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former U.S. SBA Entrepreneur of the Year. And on this show, we're talking about discipline. We're talking about disciplined diligence. We're talking about the consistency needed to become successful as an entrepreneur. And I like to brag on anytime I have a client that I'm working with that is very disciplined and very diligent, because it is rare that you meet such a person. And when you meet such a person that is disciplined and diligent, you realize that when they apply the business coaching system that we teach them, they will become successful. And I mean this. We have, this past week, we had probably 10 people that had reached out for coaching or consulting of some kind, and I had the opportunity to speak to many of them on the phone. And there was a couple of them that I knew would be successful if they implemented the plan. I knew that if they entered our program, they'd be successful. And there's a lot of them that I just told them it's not a good fit. And they said, why is it not a good fit? I said, well, with our coaching program, you're going to have to leave every week with some homework to do. And if you don't do the homework, it won't work. And I literally a person said this to me. They said, so what am I going to pay for then? And I'm going, it'd be like about being a basketball player. And you have a great coach, like Phil Jackson's the coach of your team. He shows up. He's won NBA championships with the Bulls with Michael Jordan. He's won championships with the Lakers with Kobe Bryant. He shows up to coach your team, and then you are saying, well, what am I paying for? If he's not out there playing for you on your behalf.
Right.
And so I want to brag on one of our clients that's one of the most disciplined people I know, period. This is Roy with RC Auto Specialists.
Oh, yeah.
He is a very, very disciplined guy. He's a great guy. His wife, Jill the Thrill, is a great lady, and he repairs Ford automobiles in Tulsa. You might think to yourself, well, what's different about that? Well, first off, between he and his father, they've been doing this for 80 years in Tulsa.
That's a minute.
And they have an unbelievable amount of Google reviews. So if you're driving a Ford vehicle today and you need to get that thing fixed, I would recommend that you go to rcautospecialists.com, rcautospecialists.com. Transmission, battery issues, fleet service, suspension alignment. But they're gonna do a great job. And their secret, Chup, their magic, their crazy thing that they do is they actually do what they say they're going to do.
It's weird, right?
And that's why, without reservation, I'd recommend you guys check out RC Auto Specialists. And I think about another person that's crazy disciplined, Will Smith. Think about Will Smith. Will Smith, he was known as being on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Before that, he was known as being the rapper. After that, he's gone on to become a critically acclaimed actor. And a lot of people thought he was a joke when he moved into acting, because he basically played the part of a slapstick character when he went from rapping to acting, because he started off doing a sitcom.
Right.
And then people didn't think he could transition into doing serious roles. Have you guys seen, though, the movie Ali? Have you guys seen Ali?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
What do you think about Will Smith's performance in that
I think
movie?
it's phenomenal.
You did good, yeah.
Have you guys seen the Celloist? Have you seen that movie?
No, I don't think so.
Marshall, have you not seen this, really?
No.
Really? Okay. Well, if you look at like Jamie Foxx is another musician turned actor, or maybe actor turned musician. And,
True, yeah.
And both of those guys, they just grind, and their performances in these kind of movies are just phenomenal. But it's not a result of just being born. They actually practice all the time. And Will Smith says this. I want to get Dr. Sibley's take on this. Will Smith says, "I've viewed myself as slightly above average in talent, and where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic." Can you talk to the listeners out there, Dr. Sibley, about the importance of having a ridiculous, sickening work ethic, and maybe how the rest of the world doesn't understand it?
When you have a work ethic, work is not really work. Work is your life. So you go to work, and it's part of your life, and you do things on a daily basis consistently that improve not only the health in my particular venue, but it improves the bottom line, the profit line, and it just sets the tone for success, not only for yourself, but people are watching you. Your staff is watching you.
Another word for work is service.
Correct.
And Billy Graham would agree with you. This is the famous evangelist who recently passed. He said, "The highest form of worship is the worship of unselfish Christian work." Again, the highest form of worship is the worship of unselfish Christian service. He's talking about work itself is a form of worship. Work is unto the Lord. I think a lot of people, though, they view work as like a chore that they hate, Dr. Sibley. I don't think a lot of people view it as a form of worship.
Well, what I think it is, it's a way of life. Work is a way of life. And if you can make that, and you can get that through your head and be consistent with a plan on a daily basis, you're going to excel in whatever you're doing. If it's chiropractic or just like Paul Hood and his business.
Yeah.
He is the epitome of someone that is disciplined. So I think he's one of my mentors, too.
It's just a very consistent grind is what's going to create that wealth. You know, Proverbs 13:11, Marshall, reads, "Dishonest money dwindles away. Dishonest money dwindles away. But whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." Little by little. So I think about Williams Contracting, one of your clients you work with here. Can you talk to me about the character of your point of contact with Williams Construction?
Yeah, he does a phenomenal job. And
who is he?
This is Travis Williams of Williams Contracting. They do a great job. What his big focus is long-term relationships, and I think that is so rare in a world that is littered with get-rich-quick schemes and charlatanism, where you can click funnel your way to growing a multi-million-dollar contracting company or
right near to be
real estate or investing or whatever that is. But his big focus is that he wants to build a relationship with you prior to when you actually need something, so that you understand that like he actually cares about the success of a quality build for you. So Travis Williams over at Williams Contracting, they do a phenomenal job with commercial, civil, school, different builds, restaurants, all different kinds of
pharmaceutical build. They're all over the place. Their website is will-con.com, will-con.com, and the phone number is 918-682-5511. 918-682-5511. Williams Contracting.
I'm telling you, I see so many entrepreneurs out there that they just don't have that kind of grind that Travis has. And I'm going to say this to you, and hopefully this isn't mean. This isn't mean, but Chup, can I get just a little mean if I quote somebody else? Is that allowed, or what's the rules for being mean on today's show?
I think you should just go straight mean.
Really?
Just do it.
Direct.
I don't want to be
Candid.
direct. Okay, but I think if you're direct, I think people think that you're mean.
What your directness, what most people would interpret as mean.
Do it, but then say a really hilarious joke.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ted Turner, this is the guy who built TBS, TNT, CNN. He sold the Turner Network. They actually merged with AOL, and now he has Ted's Grill, and he has an insane amount of buffalo that he's raising. And long story short, Ted Turner, he talked about when he hears people say they're an entrepreneur, what he immediately thinks of. So he was doing an interview, and he said, the interviewer said, "Well, what's your son doing?" And he says, my son, I'm quoting Ted Turner. He says, my son is now an entrepreneur. That's what you're called when you don't have a job. Again, he says, my son is an entrepreneur. That's what you're called when you don't have a job. So I see a lot of idiots.
I work for myself, man.
No, I see a lot of idiots running around looking for shared office space, looking for government grants to start some stupid app, some stupid business idea. So you're going downtown to your little incubator and all your failing companies are getting together and you're all just failing together and you're going to your 1 million cups to talk about your stupid ideas that don't work, and you all just wake up around noon and you pontificate about going green and making an app of the future and ways to... It's just ridiculous.
Clay, it's really more of a strategy session, okay?
It's ridiculous. I have never met a successful entrepreneur who is subsidized by the government from day one who's gone on to just have massive success. If you're out there looking for a government grant or some way to avoid getting a second job or a third job, you're going to lose. Tiger Woods has an offensive quote I want to leave the listeners with today. Tiger Woods, he says, people don't understand that when I grew up, I was never the most talented. I was never the biggest. I was never the fastest. I certainly was never the strongest. The only thing I had was my work ethic. And that's been what has gotten me this far, Mr. Tiger Woods. Now that's, my friend, work ethic. My name's Clay Clark, and if you're a diligent doer, we'd like to invite you to go to thrivetimeshow.com, where we provide tools for diligent doers just like you. We provide podcasts, one-on-one business coaching, in-person workshops, and a video archive of thousands of videos. But nothing works unless you do. I repeat, Maya Angelou said, nothing works unless you do. For all the diligent doers, go to thrivetimeshow.com. And as always, 3, 2, 1, boom!